So I'm just gonna finish getting set up real quick. I am trying to add some music to this. We will see if it actually works. Yesterday I didn't do any music and I realized it was pretty quiet, especially since I was talking to myself. And I'm usually playing some music while I'm coding, so I'm gonna try to get it so it's a bit less silent. I don't know if that's actually working because I got it up and running. I can hear it in my headphones. Probably check that out. Yeah, I don't think it is. Hmm. Well, that's okay. I'll figure it out later on today. I'll just go silent for today. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me bring up the coding screen. Okay. So yesterday I finished with the dashboard project, the several dynamic elements that I was working on. So I had this lexicon stats and then the number of unique attributes and unique references down here. And then the last thing that I actually worked on was this search bar. So if you type in the search bar, then it'll look up lexicons with that exact search term. So it's pretty basic search right now. I can definitely improve on that. I think I am going to hold off on doing that just yet because I want to also get it to work on these other pages. So I want to start extending what I did on the lexicons page to the attributes and discover page as well. So that's what I'm going to be diving into today. So essentially to do that, I'm going to have to create a state within attributes for the search term. And if you're watching this and you don't know much about the channel or who am I, I'm Cody and I am completing the Odin project and I'm documenting my journey along the way. My wife and I are actually doing it together and we are both documenting our journeys, and we have a YouTube channel called A Couple Codes where we are posting our vlogs and our weekly updates on the progress that we're making. We're both doing this full time, so we have the time to not only do the project but also share it with people online as well who are interested. So I tweet about it. I have a YouTube channel that I share with my wife, and now I'm starting to do the streaming just to see how that plays out. I think it's interesting to actually show the amount of work that's going into it and specifically how I'm going about doing projects, just to kind of open up a layer of complexity for those that are interested. All right, back to this. I'm going into the attributes and I'm adding a state for monitoring the search term that the user has. And I'm going to use that search term down here, right before this mapping, I'm going to filter the attributes array with that search term. So I'm going to filter each attribute, and I think I gotta take a look at the data for this. So I just have my data in JSONs right now. I'm not hooking up a backend just yet. Okay, attribute is what I want. So it's gonna be attribute.attribute. I'm gonna shorten this and just call it A or D, and just to be consistent with that map, and a D.attribute is equal, or is includes, I think is what I used, search term. Yep, so that should probably work for that piece of it. We're not going to see anything happening just yet because it's going to be set to a empty string for just allowing all the attributes to go through. So let me actually go to the attributes page over here. Click on the attributes, so they're still all there, so that's good. And then I want to set up a handle change function, and quickly just write when user types in search bar update search term in state. So we're gonna call this handle change, and it's going to take an event since it's going to be the onChange property within the search bar JSX, and we're going to use set search term to set the new state of the search term to the target value of the event. And we got some errors over here. It looks, oh, because I'm not properly defining a function. And I got to use that handle change down here. I'm going to set an on change, and it's going to be handle change function that will be used. Excuse me, guys, clear my throat. If anybody's actually watching and if you can't hear me, let me know. I have a slightly different mic setup today. I think it should be fine, but let me know if it's a little low. Okay, let's go back over here. So I have that handle change, and make sure I'm on the attributes page. I'm on the attributes page, but all my attributes just disappeared. Let's go to the lexicons and see if I did something wrong here. Lexicon.product.includes search term. That, okay, so I don't know if I need these brackets. I don't think I actually do. Oh yeah, because I've already got the brackets. So that's probably what's going on here. Yep. So it was those brackets within brackets that were unnecessary. And now the search term is actually being used to filter the attributes array. Since the search term is an empty string to start out with, it's currently empty. But if I type in something like blue, and there we go. Blueberry comes up as an attribute. And then if it's just BL, it's going to be several of these attributes, which is interesting because we have black coming up for several of the same attributes. It's the same exact attribute, it looks like. So I don't think I have filtering for unique attributes in this page. I don't think I do. I have it for the stats, but not for the attributes array specifically. I don't think I'm going to deal with that just yet because I don't know if those duplicate attributes are from the same lexicon or for different lexicons. If they're from different lexicons, that could be fine. I'd want to ideally show them, if they are exactly the same, then have different, have them actually show if they are not exactly the same. So there could be the same word attribute, which currently for these unique attributes I am filtering based off of the name of the specific term. So I'll figure out what to do with that then. Okay. Let's go over here, and I think I'm going to, yeah, let me commit that first. So I am adding add basic search to attributes component. All right, that one's done. Something else with these attributes. So these attributes fall within lexicons, and then attributes can have multiple references, and they often should have multiple references for clearly communicating the quality that the sensory scientist is trying to teach. So one thing that I want to indicate with these attribute cards is the actual amount of references that each attribute has, because attributes with a larger amount of references, more references, will make it easier to communicate that specific attribute. So it's a way of another way of kind of allowing the sensory scientist to discriminate between using this attribute versus that attribute for a particular sensation. So let me go down here. Let me think about how I want to do this. I want to do this for, I essentially want to use this to filter these attributes. And I can't do that. I want to I'm going to add brackets here so that I can actually do some stuff within the map for each attribute. So there's my bracket. Oops. There's my brackets. And I'm going to cut that, paste this, put this as a return. Oops. I don't want to save anything just yet, so it doesn't auto format. I'm going to grab this, bring it down here, and I'm actually going to I'm going to use that attributes array to filter in itself for each of the attributes, which I'm just, it's each of the objects that represent the attributes. And this is just going to be d.attribute. And this is going to be value dot attribute. Actually, yeah, I can't use D, so we're just going to go back to the V, which is fine. And okay, so I've already declared that that is fine. I am going to call this unique references for attribute. For attribute. And then I'm going to actually do two filters, I think. One's going to be to filter out unique attributes, and then the second filter is going to be to filter out for that specific attribute, which I'm actually going to have that as the first filter. So let's do this. So to be consistent, we're going to call these A's. And A is going to be used up here too, so put this down here. And we're looking for returning A dot attribute that is equal to D dot attribute, I think. And so I'm just going to shorten this to make it one variable. So it's going to be unique references count. It's assigned a value but never used. And we're going to now put that value down here. Probably modality, definition, evaluation. We'll put that right after the modality. Well, we'll put that as the last thing just for now. Doesn't super matter just yet. I'm just trying to get the data to come out. References count. Number of references. Attribute references. Attribute. And this is going to be unique references count. If we take a look over here, okay. Okay, so each one of them is coming up as 1, which probably means I'm filtering out too much stuff. Okay, so I want to filter out the references is equal to value reference. Let me think about this, because this filter is supposed to be looking for unique references only. Right? Oh yeah, so I think that actually worked, because I'm seeing like fatty has 2 references. Oh yeah, and fruity has 10. Cleaner has 2. Nice. So that actually worked. So first we filter based on the attribute that we're looking at within this map. So this is the attribute that we're building the card for, and then we will filter for the unique references. So if there are duplicate references for that attribute, then we filter out the duplicates, and then we have only the unique references for that attribute. Whereas before I was doing essentially I was filtering for the attribute, and then I could have several attributes because I would have several references for that attribute. But then I would use this filter and this find index for the attribute name instead of the attribute reference, which was then getting rid of those duplicates, and then just randomly, I guess, probably choosing the first attribute object when I really wanted to preserve those attribute objects and then get the references for those, or get the objects that have unique references and are that attribute. So okay, that's looking good. So I'm gonna commit that. Git add, git commit, add attribute references count to attributes. Alrighty. Now, let me take a look at what else I got here. more to do. Okay, yeah. I don't know if I'm going to modify the lexicon stats up here. That might just be useful for the user to have just as a reference for how many lexicons they have. So I don't think I'm going to modify that on this page, but I think I will move on to this next page and use the search feature for that. Yeah, because I think this page is going to change eventually. 1 second. I got to cough real quick. Okay. Yeah, so I am not probably going to show these papers. I might have a page that shows papers for sensory lexicons, but that's not the value. The reference is to the papers, not the value. I do think it is valuable to have that information for diving deeper, but the real core here is having the lexicon data. So this Discover page is essentially going to be very similar to this lexicons page. It's essentially going to be the same, except this lexicons page is going to be the user's specific lexicons that they use. And then this Discover page is going to be if they have a higher tier subscription plan, they will have access to the lexicons that are within those papers. And then they can add those lexicons to their lexicon database or reuse the attributes within that. So this is going to be actually a Discover page for lexicons and attributes as well. So I don't think I'm actually going to do anything just yet with this page. I think I'm actually going to go back here and I'm going to well, I might actually go back to the home page. Because right now on the home page I don't have really anything going on. This is a lot of static stuff. What I'd like to have is a very large lexicon flavor wheel, and I'd like to have that so it's interactive. I'm actually probably going to use that interactive flavor wheel on other pages as well, specifically the lexicons page. So we'll see what goes on. I gotta think. Yeah, okay. Well, while I'm thinking, I'm going to grab some coffee, so I'm going to be right back. Alrighty, I'm back. So, thinking about this, coming back to the dashboard, so I'm thinking about what I'm going to do next. And I think there's two options that I can do here, I think, that would be helpful. So one is to actually start making a form so that the user can upload their own lexicons and their own attributes. Another would be to make the attributes table. So a table here that has some nice functionalities for filtering through and filtering by columns and that kind of stuff, so the user can take a look at the attributes as a whole in something a bit more compact than these cards, which take up a lot of space. I think the main thing, though, that I want to do is start building that form, because that is where that'll be more the lexicon management system. So people that have the idea with this website is to have two subscription levels. One that will be for a basic plan that users can have access to the lexicon management system, which will allow them to upload their lexicons and have all their lexicons stored in one place. It'll also allow them to use some of these search features and whatnot to organize their lexicons, add attributes to their lexicons, manage their lexicons specifically. And then the additional feature for the premium aspect, premium plan, would be having access to that large repository of lexicons that are from the published literature. So that will also, the user will also have access to the lexicon management system there. So I should probably start with getting those forms set up, because that should be or at least getting the functionality to allow users to upload lexicon data set up first. Yeah. And I have two ways that I want to do that. I want to do one that is manually, so the user is typing on into the form, and then I also want to have a feature for allowing them to just upload a file and aligning the columns with what's in the database. So I'll probably start with the manual, just to keep it fairly simple right now, and the manual will probably be good for having a layout for doing the automatic upload into the database as well. So in order to do this, I need to create a button. Now, where do I put the button? So I'm going to take a look at my route switch just so I can get an understanding of my route hierarchy. I guess, yeah. I want to create an add lexicon page. So yeah, so I'm gonna probably add that as a route, and then I'm going to add a button on maybe the dashboard menu. So if we go to dashboard home, dashboard menu will be at the, no, if we go back up to the route switch, dashboard is where the dashboard menu comes into play. Yeah. So I'm going to start with the UI and menu top. Just add a div here. And I'm going to add some buttons. Button. Add lexicons. So I want to have a button for adding lexicons. Add attributes. And I want to have a button for adding references as well. Okay, those buttons are up there. I have some styling for buttons somewhere. Probably in the dashboard CSS. Button, tile button, menu button. Yep. We will call those menu buttons. Menu. Okay. Menu button. And we're going to add that. Each one of those. It's an okay button, I guess. It's a bit cramped and thick. So I'm going to make it fit the content, maybe. Let's see what that looks like. Fit content. Still kind of thick, and I don't really like the radius. And we're going to add a margin to this as well. . Let's have 0 and 10 pixels. Oops, it's not 10 pixels. Not XP. All right, that's okay for now. Maybe make this a little bit thinner. 30. $40 looks nice. And then maybe we will set the width to something that's standard so that they all the same size. Let's try 200 pixels. 200 pixels is pretty big. All right. Hey, welcome to the live stream. I am not a junior front end. I'm just someone who's learning how to code through the Odin project. So I'm doing this full time, not working right now, just kind of learning how to do full stack development ultimately would be the goal, and get a job in web dev. I don't really have a particular preference at this point, but probably full stack down the line, but I won't be picky for my first role for sure, probably. I would say I haven't started applying for jobs just yet, so I am responding to I think it's AMI 94, AMAI. Is this a bot? Prime Gaming. AMAI. No. Let me see something. I'm pretty new to streaming, so I don't mean to offend anyone if I am assuming you're a bot, but I'm going to ask this question just to see what happens. Because I had some bots yesterday that I think were bots. Yes. Like a robot. Like a programmed robot to spam the chat. Okay, you can hear me. Yeah. Okay, I'm assuming that you're not a bot since you're typing so fast. So sorry about that. I thought it said AMAI, so like ask me anything AI, artificial intelligence. That's your username, so that's why I was thinking that you might be a bot. But yeah, back to your question. I haven't started applying yet for jobs. I have a lot of time to do that. But from my understanding, it's like a normal job search. You gotta definitely put out a lot of applications, and you gotta know what you want. So you have to prioritize what you're looking for and make sure you really grind on focusing on putting in as many applications as you can for roles. But again, I'm speaking a little bit outside of what I've done because I haven't started applying for jobs yet. I had, for my previous job experience, I have had full-time job and stuff for my previous role, and that was, I would say, fairly similar. I just applied for a lot of things, and I made sure I did a little bit more over quality quality applications and getting to know the companies that I was applying for first. Um, and I did land a job for the thing that I originally studied for, which was food science and sensory science. Um, but yeah, I would say that's why I'm doing this project, the Odin project specifically, is to actually get projects to allow me to display that I have experience and skills um, for landing that first job within web dev specifically. Um, so if you have any job experience in general, I imagine it'll be helpful because there's this term of like saying that you're employable in that you have been like you have had a full-time job before, um, and you've made it through HR processes essentially, but that seems less important within the web development world. It's more practical and based off of can you actually do the work, not necessarily do you meet all the hurdles for getting through HR for the role. Um, but yeah. Well, that's interesting. So front end or iOS or C# or Java. There's a lot going on there. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a never-ending question that beginners always have. What to actually choose? I would, my personal opinion would be try to make things that you find interesting. So I got involved, I got experience with web development by actually trying to create my own websites for things that I found was interesting. So I created this website. So I meal prep, which is essentially I make all my meals for the week at the beginning of the week. It's something that my wife and I do, and I kind of got sick of having to go to blogs, websites for picking up their recipes, and blogs generally are made on WordPress, and there's a lot of ads, and there's just it gets kind of messy, um, and so this is like a centralized location where I can enter in all my recipes that I use for meal prep, and I can view them. And then I was thinking about making it more of a community of meal preppers where they upload meal prep ideas and that kind of stuff. So I got into web dev by kind of making something that I found was interesting. This was a bit more of a kind of diving in because it did require me to set up my own server and that kind of stuff. But I would just, if you can't make a decision between those three things, you could, if you don't have something that like specifically pops out to you as more interesting, like the front end or the iOS, then I would just pick one randomly. Front end seems like from my perspective, it seems like a potentially a more specific thing, and there are specific roles for that, so that might be good, but I can't really say. The meal prep fun day site is not built on React. This was built with PHP, JavaScript, and jQuery, some stuff like that. So it's not on a framework. It is using PHP for the backend, and it also uses some PHP from the server side, and then jQuery and JavaScript for making it dynamic on the front end. But yeah, I chose PHP for this project just because it's been around for a long time, and I just saw someone else. There was like YouTube videos of how to set up websites with PHP at the time, and I followed those YouTube videos for helping me get set up using like MySQL for a relational database and that kind of stuff. So it's not made with React, but this app that I was building for today's live stream is made with React. So, but yeah, thanks for all these questions. I really appreciate it. It's nice to actually be talking to someone while doing this. I wasn't sure if I'd actually get people coming in, so. But yeah, so I'm definitely feel free to ask more questions. But I'm gonna go back to diving into making the dashboard for the final JavaScript project of the Odin project. Yeah, yeah, you're welcome. Thanks again for dropping in. Okay, so I was working on these buttons over here, and I was just getting some basic styling in. The idea with these buttons are to create forms that they lead to that allows my users to actually upload lexicons, attributes, and references respectively. So it's probably going to be a different form for each one of those for sure. But the main thing is that I need to figure out where to put these, which I'm probably going to put them in the route, the nested route for the dashboard, and then have it use the outlet on the dashboard page, which is this right here, to actually enter the content down here, which will be a form for entering in the data. So I'll get that set up so I can just do that, and then I can start actually designing the form and trying to get that up and running. Okay, so let's go back to our dashboard menu. And we have those. These are going to be, well, I'll set up the links a little bit later. Go back here, and we're going to create a route. Path for the route. We'll start with the lexicons form. So it's going to be add a lexicon. Add lexicon. And the elements, I think we'll just call this add lexicon as well. So I don't have this made yet. That's what I'm going to be building. So I will go over here and create add lexicon. .jsx, and I'm going to be making this into a component. So got to import React, and it's going to be a functional component. Add lexicon. Oops. I must have spelled lexicon wrong on that other page. And we're going to export this. Default. Add lexicon. So I got to go back here real quick. Fix this. Okay. Go back to my add lexicon, and I'm going to return a div that I guess I'll return a form, and we're going to call that form add lexicon. And let's just put some dummy inputs in here for now. Input T text. Yep. This is going to be lexicon. We'll do L name, or just call it name. Yeah, we'll just do that. Name. And this is going to be required. Input. Well, we'll get around to doing that. Let's just put in some inputs just to make sure that the route switching is working. So I got to import the add lexicon. Import add lexicon. Okay, have that. And then the last thing, if I navigate to this page here, it should work. Yep, and we have 2 inputs, but I have no way for the user to get there right now. So I want to put some links on, some routing links onto these buttons. So specifically, I'm going to start with the lexicons. So I got to go to my dashboard menu, and I'm going to wrap this button in that link. We need a 2, I think 2 or path. Okay, I think it's 2. Add lexicon. Oop, don't do that. Okay. Make some space here. And copy paste that button into that. Okay, so when I click on this, yep, it takes me to the add lexicon page, and I have those 2 dummy inputs that I put in there. So I'm gonna make some commits real quick, specifically for the styling of those dashboard buttons, those menu buttons. So I'm going to do git add source assets. Yeah, we'll do that. Source assets and git commit. Modify menu button style. Styling. Okay, that was the first one, and then I'm going to add the new links and routing that I have. So this is going to be add routing for add lexicon for user for add page for user to add lexicons with a form. Add page for user to add lexicons with a form. All right. I'll just do a quick push. Okay, Hmm. Thinking about this now, that works, but I probably want to. There's a lot of wasted space over here on this dashboard. So it may be a good idea to create a whole new page for this, potentially. Because then I'll have to add, or I'll have to change this top menu. As well. Okay, so I think that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna edit this a bit and do, it's not gonna be nested routing. It's going to create a whole nother route at the top level for adding lexicons. And I need to add that to that. And then I want to take a look at the sign up box. No. The sign up box. If we go to the sign up box and we go down here, I want to see what on sign up. So on sign up. Now we want to go to the plans page because that's where I have buttons to take them to the dashboard. Okay, so that is, I need to use a path with the / at the beginning. And that's going to be utilized within that link that I had on the dashboard menu buttons. So this should be this. And this page should not work anymore. But if I do this, yep, okay. That's cool. But I think I'm going to try something else out. So I'm going to do / add / lexicon. And this is going to be just an add page. And actually, scratch that. I was thinking that there would probably be elements that are the same for add lexicons, add attributes, and add references, but I don't know if that's the case. So that might be true after I actually make this form. So I'm going to keep it as is, add dash lexicon. So change this to this, and this should still be there. But I need to make this into a form. Okay. Well, actually, I need to test. I need to go back to the dashboard and test that. Yeah, okay, so that still works. Okay, that works. I'm going to git add that and git commit make add lexicon page. It's outside of dashboard. Dashboard. Oops. Gotta do the quote. Okay. Now I have just notes on what I want to do with that. Again, I'm going to start out with manual addition of inputs for this. But I do have my JSON data that I can use as a template for the lexicon data that I want. Okay, so I'm gonna split this to the right. And there's a lot of information here. Some of it actually will not go into the website. Stuff like this lexicon development time hours, panel size will probably go in there. I don't know why it says 10 and a half. You can't have half of a person. And then potential lexicon cost. These two definitely won't. I don't think I'll have in there. But the product category and product will definitely. I'd say those are the main two. Yeah, so I mean, honestly, why make it more complicated than that at this point? So we're gonna have a name here. That's gonna be equal to the product category. Just call this prodcat. And a name here that's equal to product. We want to add labels here for prodcat. And let's add prodcat here. Nope. Here. And this is going to be put here for the product. I gotta say, it's pretty cool that Amai 94 and I got the chat earlier. Was not expecting that on the second day, but I guess that's the whole point. It's pretty cool that I can talk to someone halfway around the world or somewhere completely separate, somewhere I've never been, and we can have a quick chat in the morning, for me at least, the morning. Okay, so I need to add labels. This is going to be product category. We have that. And this is going to be product. We have that. Okay. And I am going to, need a button. I think, so with these lexicons, want to add a lexicon. You add the lexicon information, and then we need to add attribute information. So the lexicon information is the first step. And I think I'm going to hold off on styling for right now because this could change. Product category, product. Add lexicon. Then we want to add attributes. Add attributes is going to be complicated because there's going to be several attributes that can be added for a single lexicon. So yeah, let's going to create another. This is going to be for, yeah, it's going to create a nested route here. Let me get rid of some of this so we can see what I'm doing. Route. And I'm going to create a sub route. I don't know if that's the correct term for that, but it makes sense because it's nested. So it'd be a sub route in my mind. And this is going to be attributes. Add attributes. Element is going to be add. Well, I don't have an element just yet. Let me make that first. And I think I'm actually going to create a new folder for these forms. Yeah. And I'll put add lexicon in this form. And I do want it to update the imports. And I'm going to have add attributes.jsx. And this is going to be a component import React functional component. So I'm going to add attributes. It's going to be our name. And we want to export default. Add attributes. Oops. And we're going to return, again, just going to put some placeholder stuff in here. It's going to be a form don't have an action for it yet. Input is going to be name equals attribute. Hey,
Yeah.
I had someone chatting with me this morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I was all nervous.
I bet.
If you're still there, I was kind of nervous. Didn't know what to do. Okay. What we got over here? Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Gonna add that element here then, and when I add it, it should just import it. Yep. So we see it imported up there. Gotta close that bracket. Nice. And I want to make that a link. Here. So it's going to be link. And yep, it already imported that. It's also interesting. So I mentioned earlier in my conversation with my friend from Europe that I was using PHP for that Meal Prep Monday website. And I was using PHP, jQuery, and JavaScript. Obviously HTML and CSS. But PHP for the back end and jQuery, JavaScript for the front end, Ajax and that kind of stuff. The interesting thing that I'm learning through the Odin project is all these additional developer tools like linting and these, so it's like ESLint and then Prettier, and actually how to use those within projects, and also having access to packages with NPM is very interesting, and it's very helpful for making sure that I'm doing things properly. Because there were times when making Meal Prep Fun Day that I would break stuff, and I was editing these things live on the server. And it wasn't a big deal because it was just me that was using the website at the time, and so it was fine. I was doing things live. But it's nice to actually understand a bit more about production versus the kind of dev side of production, and how that is nice to have that separation so that we can work on things without interrupting the user experience, but also have these tools to help prevent bugs and prevent kind of bad code from being written in the first place. So it's just very, very helpful after doing it manually yourself for some time. Okay, what am I trying to link to? I'm trying to link to add attributes. That should work if I did this stuff correctly. Nope. No, it did work. Kind of worked. Add attributes. I guess add attributes forms. I have. Oh, I don't have. I guess I need to make. Let me go to dashboard home. Let me go to dashboard. Okay, yeah, I don't have an a place for having outlets. I guess I'll make one. Add.jsx. This is going to be, nope, I made a directory. Oopsie. No, keep that over here. Undo. Yes. Add.jsx. Import React from React. Function add. We'll call this add pages. So it's not just a verb, it's a place. Add pages. Export default add pages, and we're going to use outlet from React Router DOM, and gonna just do that. Take that out of there. Okay, cool. So I gotta go back to the route switch, and I'm actually gonna take that this path is going to be equal to add element is going to be equal to add pages, which gotta put that in brackets, and this has got to go in brackets. Gonna take this one, put it here, this one, put it here, get rid of this, save it. Oops. What's going on here? Route element. So we say closing tag for route. Oops. That's because I need to do this. Okay. So that makes sense why we didn't. So let's just, oops, nope. Don't do that. Add localhost. Navigate back to my dashboard real quick. And then to the add, that's going to take me to add lexicons. Probably will need to change that, but we are on the add page. Gonna change this to just add lexicon, and then this to attributes. Gotta go in here. This is gonna be this, and go to my dashboard menu and just make this add lexicons. That might work. Yeah, that worked. Okay, see what happens here. Add lexicon attributes. So if I do the dot, that's going to take me to the directory above, and then that'll take it to attributes, which is what it seems to be doing. Let me just put a label here so I know. Attribute name. Nice. Okay, so that is working there. I'm going to take a quick break real quick before I move on. So I'll be right back. All right, I'm back, and let me exit out my meal prep fun day, and we're back in the attributes. So I am taking a user from the add lexicon page to the add attributes page, because every lexicon will have attributes. And that button, I need to link those attributes to that lexicon. I do want to save that lexicon upon the initial adding, so that if a user closes out for some reason, then it'll save things live. So I want this to be saving things live so that the user doesn't lose their data. So I'm just working with JSON data right now. The reason being is I'm going to keep building this project going into the Node.js section down the line. So there's no backend for it right now. So it's just going to be the JSONs. So I need to figure out how to write to JSON within React. I feel like this is probably not something you would do for a project out in the real world if you're making this into a full-scale app right away. But I'm doing this just as like a placeholder, so just so I can get the flow, and then when I have these back-end hookups, I can just plug everything in and it should work. This is the same. Yeah, it's the same question. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've encountered this before, and I kind of just put it off. Client-side solution, save to PC, handle save to PC, JSON data, stringify, JSON data, blob, new blob, file data. Yeah, this is getting out of the actual kind of development context for React. So well, we'll see what this does. So I'm gonna write this out. Handle save to PC. So function and this function is going to take some JSON data. So that's going to be an argument, JSON data. Probably have to build that JSON data. So it's going to just take nothing as an argument for my specific case. I want to then get the product name or product cat from the document. So I'm going to use query selector, and I'm going to get the ID, which is going to be product prodcat to be consistent. So that's going to be used up here for this thingy. Boom. And I'm going to get the product. Doing the same thing. Query selector. Boom, 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 boom. Hashtag product. But I need to make an ID down here. It's going to be product. Bada bing, bada boom. Not being used. They need to be used. I'm going, I guess, I'm going to create an array. JSON data is equal to this and this and product category. I'm gonna do something that is probably not great, is using that dot within this. So now I have to, so I'm essentially creating an associative array. So it's an array, and then the array has objects, and the objects are associative arrays. That's the technically the associative array. So associative arrays have names for each element within them, and I'm going to have a product category element property within my object, and I'm going to have a product property within my object, and that's going to be set equal to the product that we grabbed from the document. And okay, the formatter made things look nice. Good. Okay, got that JSON data. Constant file data is going to be equal to JSON dot stringify this JSON data that I just created, and then we're gonna take the, I don't know what this is gonna do. It's creating a, wait, no, okay, blob first, blob, create a new blob, which is some sort of object, and that's going to create, or that's going to need this file data as an argument in an array, and the type is going to be, type is text /plain. So I guess this is just to get the data in a proper format from the JSON that was stringified. So now this URL bit, I don't know what this is doing. What I'm going to do just to see what's going on here. Constant link. Oh, it's creating a link. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I guess it's to let the user download the data. Which, if this is the only way I can do this, it's gonna be pretty clunky. Which maybe then I should just suck it up and use Firebase. I don't really want to be entering that stuff into Google though. All right, let's try it out. I'm going to put this on here as an on click. Let's handle save to PC. Let's go back to our React app. And we're going to go back to this page. I'm going to say product category is beverage, and the product is milk, purple milk. Sounds strange, but it was and might still be a thing somewhere in the world. Okay. Well, I missed some things here. So this isn't, that should not be there. And link download is going to be file name.json. So I'm creating some sort of link, and I don't know what that's gonna do. Honestly, I'm going to comment out this link first because I assume that that's probably going to be interfering with what I'm trying to do here. So beverage, purple milk. Let's click this. Nothing is happening. Let's check the console. Okay, bring it over here. And since I'm doing all this, I'm gonna put it down in the corner. Which will probably be behind my head, but that's fine. If something cool happens, I will move it so that you guys can see. Okay. Now let's go to the console. Yep. Things happening here. Converting circular structure to JSON. Object. So I'm sitting silent right now because I'm thinking about putting this on Firebase. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to get some API keys and set up an environment and do all that kind of stuff, which is not great to do on a live stream because I don't want to share out my keys. I mean, it's fine. I'm going to probably just go to chatting mode, I guess, for right now. And then I'm going to go over to my respective places. I guess I didn't hear notifications earlier because this is kind of squirrel brain going on right here. I had Bluetooth on. I'm not using Bluetooth, so that's probably why I didn't catch those notifications right off the bat. Okay, cool. Going to Yep. Okay. I'm gonna use Firebase. Just gonna go for it. So if you guys have going, I'll just put a message in the chat for right now, just in case people are joining while I'm doing this. Make sure I look presentable. Going to set up Firebase. So I will not be sharing screen at the moment. For a little bit. Free to ask questions. Okay. Okay, I'm on the Firebase website. I actually have a sensory lexicons kind of project set up. It doesn't have a database yet. Do not want to set up Firebase hosting. Okay. Okay, I gotta install Firebase. Installing Firebase, and I want to also create a .env, which I want to get ignore. Boom. Gonna add that dot. I'm gonna add the get ignore. I'm gonna add the get ignore, so you guys can kind of hear what I'm doing at the very least, since I'm not sharing my screen right now. Gonna commit that, and I'm just ignoring the ignore the env file. I'm going to use the .env for holding my keys for Firebase. And I'm going to now create the .env, and I want to figure out how to use .env. .env. Oh, you can set up a test for .env. That's cool. So I want to have React React app. So I'm actually defining an environment variable here, and this is going to be, I call this firebase API key. This is going to be equal to a string. And I'm actually going to try to throw in some of these other things as well. Okay. React app firebase authorized domain is going to be this. And then React app firebase project ID. React app firebase storage bucket. And React app messaging, firebase messaging sender, whatever, messaging sender ID. Ugh. These variable names are really long. You know, I'm only using one database right now, so I don't need to specify that this is Firebase every time. Okay. Messaging sender ID. And the last one is app ID. App ID. Okay. Okay, so I'm copying these strings over to my .env file. Okay. So I have the .env. I'm going to create I'm actually going to share my screen again. Let me oops. Put this back over here. What is this? Oh. Get out of here. Get out of here. Okay, cool. Bada bing, bada boom. Let me share this. Okay, bringing the screen back up. So we got the screen back up over here. I created this little file right here. I'm not going to open it because it has my API keys. I am going to create some just vanilla JS. Not that. I want this to be a folder. Yes. Under my assets. And it's going to be a JS folder. And this is going to be connect to db.js. It's not a component, so I'm not going to use Pascal case, which is each word being capitalized. I'm going to use camel case, which is the first word is not capitalized and the remaining words, each first letter is capitalized. Okie dokie. So I'm not going to copy and paste this. Where did my stuff go? Ugh. Go to this and scooch down here. So I'm going to import, since I'm using Firebase, initialize app, boom, from firebase /app. Cool. And I am going to create a Firebase config, which is going to be an object with the API key. And I have an API key in my process.env. I don't know if that's what I want. Let me check some documentation. Yeah, process.env and then the variable env dot react app API key. And then this is going to be my next one is going to be the authorization domain. I think that's what's the full thing, but auth domain process.env.react What the heck? Emit warning. ENV. Now capitalize. React. App. Auth. Domain. Now it's going to be project ID, which is going to be process.env.react app React app. This is project ID, and then we're going to do storage bucket, and that's going to be process.env.react app storage bucket. Nice. Then messaging sender ID is process.env.react app, which is going to be messaging sender ID, React app messaging sender ID, and last but not least, app ID, process.env.react app ID. Okay. Hopefully I spelled everything right. And then I'm going to return initialize, well, constant app. Then I'm going to use this initialize app with the firebase config to get that, and I'm going to return app. Maybe not return it, but export. I forget what exactly I did here. Maybe I need to create a function to export this. This is going to actually be initialize firebase app. And oh man. Throw all that in there and return app. What is this telling me? Prefer default export on file with a single thing. That's fine. Okay. What is this saying? Okay. I don't know if this is gonna work. Why is it doing this? Sure. Okay, just got authenticate for some reason. I don't know why that was doing that. Okay, let's go back here. I don't think that's correct, but I don't care right now. I call this initialize firebase app. Okay. And then I'm actually going to create another one. It's called connect to database. That's JSX. Oh no, not JSX, just JavaScript. Rename JavaScript. This is going to be import initialize firebase app, and I'm also going to probably do something else for the database. Firestore database. Create a database. Firebase database. I want to use this. Finish the setup. Let's see. Add the Firebase SDK. Add and read data. I don't know if Firebase. Just see if that does something here. Okay. So initialize firebase app. I have that. Then I want to import get firestone. Firestore. Get firestore from firebase / fire store. Okay. And then I'm gonna get my app, which is going to be no export default connect to database. It's going to take the app, and it's also going to take it's just going to take the app, and then it's going to return get firestore app. So this is going to return the database. What's going on here? I don't need this anymore. And well, let's see what's going on here. I'm going to get out of the VS Code for right now. I'm going to go back to it. Sensory lexicons. Open up my two terminals and PM start for my server. And okay, what's going on here? Expected. What? What here? I don't know. Oh, this needs to be a function. There we go. Okay, dokie. I'm gonna make some coffee real quick, so I'm gonna BRB. Okay, let's check this out. Over here, I have my connect to database. I have my initialize firebase connection. I don't know if these work just yet. I need to do that somewhere to test it. So I'm going to create a very simple database. And let me get rid of some of these things. So I'll show you guys what this looks like over in Firebase. Hopefully I don't share API keys or anything like that. What is going on here? Okay.
You better not be.
Hey! Okay. This is going to be lexicons. Next. And adding the first element. Grape. And it's going to have a field of, this is just going to be, I guess, auto ID it. And name, grape. Yeah, grape. And product category. Which will actually just change this to product and product category. Product category is fruit. Save that. Let's see what we got up here. So there's to add data. I want to read data. Well, I guess I could do add data too, because that's what I'm doing. Can't see the documentation. Okay. So I want to go to this add pages. I'm going to import initialize firebase app, and I'm actually gonna, I don't know if, I think this is probably possible. I'm going to pass that in as a prop. Be right back real quick. Just grab my coffee. Back in action. Okay. So I'm gonna try to send this as a prop, which I think should work, I guess. And I think that I can then expect it to be here in this. Lexicon, add lexicon component, and add the props. that. I'm going to this is going to be something that I get from props, and I'm going to disable the next line with ESLint because it's going to give me a prop type error. ESLint disable next line React prop types. Okay, good. We are getting that. And then I want to import connect to database from that because well, I guess I'm not doing the docs just yet. Yeah, so we are going to actually do we're gonna get the DB from the props, and we're gonna actually take this out and put it up here in the route switch. No, in this. Yes. Take this, put it here, in there. Well, this after that one, we're going to get rid of this, and we're going to create a DB variable, and that's going to be connect to database, and we're going to have the initialize firebase function being called there, and we're going to pass the DB, the database, to the outlet. And then for this add lexicon component, we are going to add doc and collection from firebase / firestore. And then this is where we come down here, come back to our handle submit. I'm going to say that handle submit, and we are going to do this try constant doc ref, which is going to be await add doc, and we're going to pass our DB here. It's going to be lexicons is our collection, our doc, right? No, it's our collection. So I need to wrap these in parentheses and put collection here. and go over here, add a comma, add some brackets, and then I guess this is my data. So product is going to be a product, and product category, which is not. How do I have this within here? Yeah, so maybe I'll change this name. Update? No? Edit? Yeah, that's what I want. Edit. Can I update this? Product category is equal to fruit. Okay. It doesn't really matter what I'm doing since I am, oops, get out of this. Going to be adding the data here, but I just want things to be consistent. Product category is equal to bread cat. And let me make sure things are looking good. Okay. And then alert. Well, I'll do a console log. Console log document written with ID doc. Oh man, this is actually kind of exciting. I like doing the full stack kind of back end and front end, having those things interact. It reminds me of a lot of the stuff I did with Meal Prep Fun Day, which maybe that's my answer of where I'm going to be, what I'm going to be focusing my applications on. But for the time being, I'm going to add this catch for any events or errors that come back. Yeah, errors. Oh man. I want to make that error since I use event elsewhere. Error adding document, and then I'll get some information about my error. And I guess this function should be async. Okay. Handle submit. It needs to be utilized. Gonna be utilized down here. And we're still getting some errors. What are those errors? Well, let's check in here. Get Firestore. Imported as get Firestore. Was not found in firebase Firestore. And interesting. Did I spell this correctly? Fires stored does not seem correct. I'm not sure if I'm actually able to do the passing of the DB. I would assume that is something I can do, but I'm not sure. So this is me figuring it out as I go. Oh. Yeah, I'm doing this all wrong here. I don't need a capital S, I just need a lowercase s. Get firestore, and I need an S up here. Okay. E is not defined. That's because I diverged from their variables that they use. Errors. Okay. Props is not iterable. Let's go back. Okie dokie. I can't do anything here. Add lexicon. I might need to make this a callback thingy. Maybe. Let's see. Import. Use callback. I don't know if this is something I can do, but I'm going to try it out. So this is going to be, I'm going to make this into an arrow function. No, I'm going to make this into this. Use callback. And then I'm going to have an arrow function in here that will run this. And then I'm going to export default initialize firebase it. Okay. That's cool there. I'm going to do the same thing with this. Constant. This is going to be import use callback. So my understanding is use callback is something that you utilize for setting functions as props, which I believe is probably what I'm doing with the DB variable. So that's why I'm putting in these use callbacks here. Okay. And then we're going to export default connect to database. Okay. Is it because I need this to be this? That might be why. Okay, that seems to be something somewhat of the problem. So let's go here and let's go up here and we're going to say beverages, apple juice. And then I'm going to hit the add lexicon. Okay, so I'm getting this error down here that's coming from the catch, and error adding document firebase error expected first argument to collection to be a collection reference, a document reference, or a firebase firestore. Which maybe I need to undo this stuff real quick, because I don't know if this was actually the problem that I was experiencing earlier. So yeah, I'm going to undo these things, get rid of these callbacks from these functions that I was utilizing. So go back. Get rid of the callback. Okay. Still getting the error. That's probably because I'm doing a little bit too much here. Excuse me. Let's take a look here for these things. App equals initialize firebase app, and let's put the app into here, and let's console log app and console log db. Looks like those things are actually going through. So let's see what that looks like on the lexicon side of the stuff. Add lexicon, and let's console log the DB. It might be something with the outlet. And the fact that I'm passing props to it. Outlet context. Context. Often parent routes manage state or other values you want shared with child routes. You can create your own context provider if you like, but this is such a common situation that it's built into outlet. Use outlet context. Okay, so it looks like I just need to use that. For the outlet on add pages, and this is going to be context. Context, and I need to get rid of the props here. I can get rid of these things, and almost sneezed. Constant db equals use context. Okay. Use context value db and import use context from React. Okay. Database. So I just gotta change the variable here, although use outlet context. So that's a React router DOM thingy. Input use outlet context. And this is going to be, we can go back to the DB. Okay, it looks like that might have worked. Let's test it out. Beverage juice. So error adding document, firebase error, function called, or function add doc called with invalid data, unsupported field value, a custom HTML input element object found in field product category in document. Oh, yep. So these need to be getting the values. Value. Oops. Value. And let's try it again. Okay, looks like it worked. Cool. Nice. Okie dokie. Let's check that out. So let me get this, and I'll bring this over here so you guys can see it. Nice. So it did submit our beverage juice lexicon. Okay, cool. Well, that's fun. So that's working. So I should probably take some time to make some commits, potentially. Okay. Because I did do a lot of stuff. First let's clean up. Oh man, I'm psyched that that worked. Well, let's make sure, let's see that that worked with the, see if it works when we have the link here as well. Link is not defined. Go up and let's define it. Okay. And let's make something else here. I don't know. Vegetable industry. Vegetable category. Peppers. Red peppers. So when I click this, I should go to, it should start this handle submit function to add the lexicon data to the Firebase database, and it then should take me to the attributes page. And it looks like we did that. So let me check that. Nice. We have a third one there, and it is our red peppers. Cool. Cool. Okay. I guess I'll just leave this over here for right now, and probably put it minimized. Okay. Oh man. So let's recap what I did here. I created an add route, which is going to be separate from dashboard and the main landing pages index route. Within this add route, there's going to be add pages, and add pages is essentially just getting our connections to our Firebase app for what's initializing the Firebase app, and it's getting the database connection, so then we don't have to run that every single time we load one of those pages. And essentially it'll pass that as a context to the outlet, and the outlet is going to be these routes. So add lexicon and add attributes. Add lexicon is what we just got working for handling submits. And we see here that we're using outlet context to get the DB from the outlet, where we define the initialize the app and got the database connection. And at first we render this form essentially, and in that form at the bottom of it we have a link to the attributes add attributes page, which will be add/attributes. That link is on this button, which also has this on-click event for handling the submit. The handle submit function will then get the product category value and the product value from the user's input fields, and it's going to try to use this try catch to actually enter the data into the lexicons collection within the Firestore database, entering the product category and product respectively. And if it works, then it'll say this in the console with the appropriate ID for the docref, and if not, it'll catch the error and console log the error. Oh, in addition to that, I made these just vanilla JavaScript exports for functions for actually connecting to the database and initializing the Firebase app, which is awesome because that initialized Firebase app, I was scared that the process.env variables, does this actually, I don't, let's just do this real quick. What? Storage bucket. String undefined, string undefined, string undefined. Okay, good. I thought it was, okay, cool. I thought I was sharing the API when I hovered over it. But yeah, so when I've made this kind of thing before, I had trouble with using the process.env, so that environment, but it seems to be working, so that's cool, that it worked on the first try. So I think, yeah, let's let's actually start committing stuff. So I'm gonna start with the packages. Lock. I don't know. Git add package lock, and then package JSON git commit. For this, I install Firebase. Yep. And then within my assets folder, it's just the JavaScript that was entered there. So git add src assets js git commit my message is create functions to initialize and connect to Firestore. DB. And then within components, we're going to take a look here. What's this? So this is going to be a larger commit. So I think I'm going to git add git commit. Oops. Nope. I want to save everything first. What we got here? Save that one. Go to these. Save. Route switch. That's good. Okay. Git add everything. Git commit. Okay. Great. Forms portion of site. Okay. Allow user to enter lexicon I'm just going to say begin build of forms for user input for manual user input. The forms will be for allowing be a feature of the lexicon management system, which will, okay, I don't want to say what they will be, but I want to say what I have done. The forms in the route switch, the forms have their own route to have their own route. That's fine. The lexicon, the add lexicon form can add data to the database. Add attributes is not functional yet. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to write because I haven't done a heck of a lot with that. So, all right. Well, I think that's all I'm going to have for today. But so I can kind of get set up for this afternoon for doing my data structures and algorithm stuff. So for those who are there and who have watched. Thank you if you're in the future. Thank you for watching me in the past. And I will see you guys later on with the vlog. So have a good day, everyone.